are very firmly rooted in history and context, and like, you know, and that would inspire. If you picked one over the other, that would very drastically change things.
Yep.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I live for that.
It's a fun
Not
series.
smart.
And here we go.
Cybernation Uncensored.
Hey, we're officially live. Everyone should be able to hear us and see us now. Let me make sure mics are on. Everybody in chat, make sure you can hear us. Nobody's frozen. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
I can hear everybody. Let's hope chat can hear us all too.
That's what matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chat,
as long
let
as
us
you
know.
can hear us, Rob.
Exactly. Yeah, chat, let us know everything's all good. Okay, cool. Bronx Smash says, looks and sounds okay, so we're good to go. This is our
Just okay.
official... Yeah, it's okay. We could do better,
Is that-
but, you know, we do the best that we can. We do the best we can. All right, Stink Palm says loud and clear. That's better. Yeah, this is our fall... this is our Dune 2D20 monthly game. We do this monthly, last Sunday of every month. However, today our session 0 we placed on this date because, you know, scheduling. We're all fellow streamers and content creators, so sometimes it's hard to lock in a date to pull it off. So our session 0 is right now. However, moving forward, our sessions will be the last Sunday of every month. Starting next month. This month, I have some filmmaking. Rocket has a paid gig last Sunday, so we're doing our session 0 now. And then like next month, last Sunday, we'll dive into session 1. We'll put out plenty of promos. We'll put out this session 0 as a VOD on the YouTube, send everybody a reminder and stuff. So make sure you subscribe and follow so you don't miss anything. Before we get into it, our session 0 and all that good stuff, let's do like we usually do. Let's go around the table. Everyone introduce yourself. I'd say introduce yourself and then your character, but we're not to that point yet. So let's just introduce ourselves, let people know, you know, what you got going on, where they can find you online and all that good stuff. Tracy, Miss Magitech, you want to start it off?
Hello, everybody. I am Tracy, also known as Miss Magitech on the internets. You may recognize me from our Cyberpunk Red game that I used to be part of. This last session, I was Ellie's last, unfortunately, although she may be back. But yeah, so now I'm here for Dune. But yeah, I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games all over the internet, basically. I stream on my own channel, twitch.tv/MissMagitech, and I occasionally do cosplay stuff, and yeah, so that's me.
Oh yeah, Rocket.
I'm not on mute. You're on mute. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocket Fox, and you can find me in all of the places where Rocket Foxes can be found, but probably most likely on Instagram. Soon to be once again coming back from a little bit of a break on my own Twitch channel, Rocket Fox, as you may have guessed, but also along with the wonderful Ellen on Thursdays. We are over on Sirenscape for the weekly Cyberpunk Red, and Tuesday nights.
Hey, wait, I'm there too. I'm there too.
This is your channel, of course you're there.
What kind of shit
You're
is that?
everywhere.
I'm there on Thursdays. I'm on the Sirens.
But
That's
Rob,
our
you're
guy.
but Rob,
Yeah.
you're so good at becoming all of the other characters. I don't even know who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Too many names to mention.
Got lost in the character.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday for the next 2, I am over on Flights of Fandom, where we are playing a Mad Max game, where we have stumbled into Max himself. So that's been exciting.
Ooh. Nice. That's awesome. Jess.
He got to say for himself. Not much.
He was like,
Hi, I'm Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram and at Rising Valkyrie J on Twitter. However, there's a running joke that's going across all channels. It's pretty much just tumbleweeds and crickets, so good luck with that. And yeah, I'm on D'Angelo's channel on Twitch every other Wednesday and Saturday, playing Wednesday's Taya as Queen Eclipse, running politics, running a country, and probably having a mental breakdown every episode. And on Saturdays, I am playing Phoenix by Night Season 2 on D'Angelo's channel 2, playing Erin Callisto, who is a tech nerd / scientist / wild blood sorcerer. I don't know what she is at this point. But yeah. So yeah, I'm here chilling, having fun, meeting with these amazing people here, and excited.
Nice, awesome. Thanks for joining us, and it's nice to meet you. We haven't, I think all of us have gotten to stream together, but we haven't gotten to stream with you yet, Jess. So this is our first time all getting to play together. That's awesome. That's fun. Ellen.
Hi, I am Ellen. I am 1/4 of the Aussie TTRPG podcast Roll to Cast. That's ROLE to Cast, which is a variety TTRPG podcast. So every season is a different game. We've done Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, Pulp Cthulhu, Kids on Bikes, Vampire the Masquerade, and we're currently doing The Witcher TTRPG right now. So subscribe to that, give it a 5 stars, a 2 thumbs up, whatever rating you want to give it. Go do that. You can also see me on Sirenscape on Thursdays, but really it's Fridays for the correct people in the world. Am I right?
Aussies.
With Rob. All them Aussies out there. With Rob and Rocket. Very, very, very much fun. And you can also just find me on my personal Twitter at EllenKGraham1, where I do hot nerd stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
and that's me.
Yeah, well put. And I'm Rob Mulligan. I'm the founder of Cyber Nation Uncensored. You're here on my channel. This is our Twitch channel, or maybe you're watching the VOD on the YouTube. Either way, if you're on YouTube, go over to Twitch, follow, subscribe. If you're watching the live, go over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe over there as well. I would really appreciate that. We're also on Discord, Twitter, Instagram. Anywhere you see social media, you can find Cyber Nation Uncensored. I would appreciate the support. It's not just me. I do lots of Fallout, Cyberpunk Red. Now we're starting this Dune, and it's weekly. I have monthly games plus other series, but we also showcase other GMs. GM Capricious Nature runs every Friday Fallout. Saturday, he has his Nomad Cyberpunk Red campaign. We have other GMs getting ready to start up probably in a few weeks. And a couple months, some other ones starting up. So again, big community. We would love to see you there. Like I said, this is our monthly Dune 2D20 gameplay we do for Modiphius Entertainment. Shout out to Modiphius Entertainment. Also Sirenscape, official sponsors of Cyber Nation Uncensored. I'm going to get some Sirenscape sounds going to kind of set the Dune mood in a little bit. Just some desert sounds. And in the future, I know maybe we haven't gotten everybody signed up on it, but I'll get everybody there. Eventually, by session 1, we'll make sure everybody is in there so all of you can hear it as well.
Do you think if I email them, they'll allow me screaming the Gomj Bar soundtrack
I absolutely think
in my car to be recorded for the soundscape?
Absolutely. I think that it'll be canon.
I'll go into the dunes of Australia with its like the winds howling, and I'll just go. Da, 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 da.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we support you.
Yeah,
right.
And then I'll be eaten by a sandworm.
Of course. Always has to end with eaten by a sandworm. That's kind of my thing here. Just like, in Cyberpunk Red, at one point you're going to wake up naked, zip-tied in a bathtub, about to be tortured. In Dune, you're always going to end up being eaten by a sandworm. It just has to happen. Let's see. Tumbleweeds and coyotes, Rob Bronx Smash says. Nope, just some desert Arrakis wind sounds we'll put on there just to set a little bit of mood. But yeah, this is our session 0. We're going to do this the last Sunday of every month, starting next month. But let's get into it. Before I fully dive into kind of what session 0 means to me and then the characters and stuff, I do want to just take 1 minute to shout out my supporters on Patreon. The Cyber Nation Uncensored Patreon is a place for gameplay, support, shout outs. You can create NPCs for games, all kinds of cool stuff. Check that out. Kevin Moreno, Joseph Holder, William Huddleston, Naomi Madlass, Jamie Minch, John Erfurt, Leaded Coffee, Michael Edmonds, a.k.a. Kira, Chris Anderson, Dolan Pond-Smith, who's an awesome artist, one of the Pond-Smiths. You should check him out if you're into Cyberpunk and Artalsorian games. Matt James, GM Reservoir Panda, Rothan, a.k.a. Renegade 420, Revolver Gray, Steve Barr of Sirenscape, Zeno, Zach Capricious Nature, one of our own game masters, Cyber Smiley, Raven, Andy Stretton, Copious Salt, and Tracy Goodwin. Seriously, you all are the fuel on my fire. You keep me going and moving forward. Really appreciate all of you. That being said, let's dive into session 0. For me, before we get into building the house, talking about the characters, all that, let's do kind of the basic session 0 chat real quick. Session 0 for Dune, I'd like to go over, Dune vibes and then just personal play vibe stuff. Dune definitely has some dark tones, adult themes, with the potential of like slavery, concubines, combat, death, huge sandworms, all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. Plus, we use adult language and we push boundaries, being here, Cybernation Uncensored. We try not to censor ourselves too much, but we don't tolerate bigotry, racism, sexism, any of that offensive shit. We don't do that here, so I just want to let that be known in Session 0. We also, me personally, I know all of us kind of agree, we've all played together, but we don't like, descriptive violence to animals, no descriptive sexual violence or sex in general. It's like fade to black stuff. We don't need to get into that. And with violence to animals, I do want to mention worms are okay. That's free play right there. All other animals.
What do you mean?
Whoa,
you know what I mean?
Rob.
Worms.
They have feelings.
We got to allow the worms to take a little bit of damage here. That's the one
They
thing.
have their own personal lives.
I know, but we
Yeah.
have to allow it. But you get my point here. Is the typical stuff. We try not to be offensive, but we also don't want to tone down Dune too much to where it doesn't feel like Dune, dangerous and dark, and just like we were talking earlier, the politics and just the way it is. It could be
This is a
corrupt
whole
and-
tome on space eugenics.
Exactly, and so and we don't want to.
Especially the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, and we don't want to nerf that too much, but we also don't want to be offensive. So that's why I wanted to mention that. I do want to just take this moment. Is there anything that I didn't mention? Is there anything in your own personal lines, veils, or something that I didn't cover? At this moment, anybody can speak up and add to that if I missed anything. Otherwise, I always have, an open line, open phone, open message, whatever you need. If after a session, during a session, you need to message me, hit me up like, hey, I didn't feel comfortable about this or that, just let me know, and we'll absolutely fix things and, alter it so everyone's comfortable. First rule in role-playing games is having fun, so we all need to have fun first and foremost. So just let me know. Aside from that, I think that covers everything as far as typical gameplay Session 0 stuff. Let's get into the house and the characters and all that. Before we get into house, I want to mention when you build a house in Dune 2D20, you kind of decide if you want it to be on an existing planet. You create your own planet. You decide the size of the house, which kind of determines the power and how much control you have and things like that. I've seen other streams talk about avoiding Arrakis, avoiding Dune in general, because they don't want to fuck with true canon and mess up things in the timeline of events. I don't want to avoid Arrakis if all of you don't want to. I know we've talked about everybody wanting to dive into that environment. You want to enjoy, the Fremen, the sandworms, the desert vibe, all that, what you know and love about Dune, right? And everybody wanted to be Bene Gesserit. So I think that combination allows us to do something unique here. Instead of just a typical house, we could absolutely set up a house on Arrakis, or we could put it on another planet and then maybe have a compound on Arrakis where, that manages the house interests or something, serves as like a base of operations for when house operatives visit the planet and stuff. But my first choice is put the house right on Arrakis, get you guys right there, right? But then kind of set it up because you're Bene Gesserit, where you have your archetypes, you guys are agents to the house, but you work directly for the Reverend Mother, and you're there kind of as a special task force to be on Arrakis, right? And you use this house as kind of a front. It does function. We'll develop the house, what the domains are, what its function is, right? But it's a bit of a front, so all of you can be Bene Gesserit agents working kind of undercover, and maybe you'll appear as other normal agents, but nobody outside the house will know that all of you are Bene Gesserits unless you want them to. Is the idea here. And maybe it's the thing where the mother, the Reverend Mother, sets this up because she knows the importance of Arrakis and the Harkonnens and the Muad'Dib and things that are to come, because we're starting with, Paul just being born, maybe between 1 and 5 years old, something like that. We don't want to get into the canon that becomes what we know of Dune, the new film and such. But I would like to at least incorporate some canon. So I think maybe it's something where the Reverend Mother is saying, like, you're a task force. I'm placing you on Arrakis. You're going to handle missions and things for us. Sometimes you do need to do house-oriented gigs and missions and things to make sure the house can maintain its front to appear like it's functional in a normal house. But the idea there is to make sure that things maintain. Like, you can't go kill the Baron. You can't, we're not going to fuck with canon directly. And it kind of makes sense that the mother can see things to come and is like, I'm placing you there to make sure things, happen the way that they're supposed to. And in turn, that allows us to create all kinds of other missions and fun things that you guys can be doing along the way to make sure that Arrakis and the balance of power and, all that stuff is the way it should be. So I would love to place you guys in a house on Arrakis, or like I said, the alternative is we put you on another planet, we can develop, we can create that, and your house there, and then you have a compound on Arrakis, like I said, that manages the house interests and whatever, there can be some business operation or something possibly. Which one of those two sounds the most interesting to you, to all of you?
I think it would be easiest if the plan is to end up on Arrakis. I think it would probably be easiest just to not have to worry about the travel time and what gets us there, and just like dive in and be there.
I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, snap!
We're not on Arrakis.
Mainly because
And now we fight.
Yeah. Arrakis is inhospitable. No, but
It's sandy, and I don't like sand in places.
I'm happy for either. But I was just thinking, if like Arrakis is such a kind of a hotbed of political intrigue and obviously Harkonnen occupied, owned at this point, then we would just need to like be really under the radar as a house operating there, which is, it's its own thing.
Yeah, to me, I feel like that adds to the gameplay in a way, because then there's this ongoing tension. A couple things, like, the Baron obviously hates witches, so it gives a little bit of tension that maybe, you don't want him to find out, the undercover agents, the Reverend Mother doesn't want it to be discovered, but then he's got this suspicion maybe he's a little hard on the house sometimes, but you got to maintain the house, you got to deal with Harkonnens, you got to deal with the harshness of Dune. But if we did put you guys right on Arrakis, I would want it to be where, like, maybe your house is based in Arrakis. Hopefully I'm getting the pronunciations right. Everybody in chat, just understand that when we pronounce things in Dune, names, locations, cities, items, whatever, we might say things a little different, there's a little bit of a learning curve with some of these words.
It's our house accent.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, it's on purpose. Shut up. It's on purpose. No, but Arrakis, I was going to put you guys there, being that, Harkonnen is based in the other major city. There's only like the two major cities there. But I was thinking, put you there. It's the bigger of the cities. It can get you guys in a mix with like other houses, other politics, to where like you're not only dealing with Harkonnen the whole time. You know what I mean?
I'm so down just to jump head first. Honestly, I'm down for whatever trouble we can get up to.
I'm fine with being on Arrakis also. I think that's good.
Okay,
let's not be with the Harkonnens. Oh god.
Nice. Let's do it then. And I have a little house record sheet, but everybody make your notes, and then when we're done, I'm gonna fill out the house sheet. It's a PDF I got from the Modiphius website, and then I'll send that to the group chat so everybody can have a copy of your house info on the actual house sheet. But yeah, then let's do that. Let's put you guys in Arrakis. You guys are in like the main, the old capital of Arrakis, because we know Harkonnen kind of built the other. I don't have it written down. What is it? Calgron? How do you pronounce it? Somebody in chat help me. I don't have it right in front of me. The other city there in Arrakis.
Well, until someone comes past and makes it canon, I think you have to set the groove, Rob.
Yeah. But
standard.
Yeah, Harkonnen's there. They're running it. They set up the other city, basically to set up their headquarters in their sort of Baroque style, which doesn't seem that great for Arrakis, but they're pulling it off. They've got their style. But Carthag, that's what it is. Thanks so much, Kira. Yeah, I knew it was whatever I said, Carthag or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Carthag. But yeah, see, they set that up as their home base. So it's kind of cool if we put you in Arrakis with a bunch of other houses. It's a larger city, more interaction, more balance of power and people, other houses you have to work with to do business and things while doing all these secret missions for the Reverend. But then you have Carthag, like 200 kilometers away, or however far it is. I think that's the distance. And, the Harkonnens running Arrakis from there. So there is that tension, and them being the dictators and the the brutal badasses that they are, you know. But yeah, let's put you there in Arrakeen. That way you have a house right there. Unless you all want to make the house something different, I would love the house to be a house miner, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go as small
seems
as
reasonable.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's fine by me.
Yeah, house miner, and then that way, you know, you have to answer to the Harkonnens.
They down low for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. And then and then that basically gives you guys, you know, a main domain, a secondary domain. It gets you guys the enemy and stuff. So let's get into that. Let's start with as far as the house, and anybody following along, if you have the Dune rule book, let's start page 86. The house type
Like school.
Yeah.
Get your textbooks out, everyone.
Yeah,
take
turn
notes.
to page 86.
86 of the textbook.
I have the book, but I am going to use the PDF just for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I am using the PDF.
it might be a little bit
So-
different, but
It's also very dark in here.
yeah, page 86, you'll see the house miner. And Kira says,
find
who
it.
didn't read ahead?
We did get a homework assignment from Rob before this, so that is true.
Hey, what did you get on answer
Yeah.
45?
Is it A, B, C, or D?
It's always C. It's always C.
It's not all of the above, right?
And now as a minor house, let's start with the name. Unless you want to wait on name until you figure out the domains and vibe of what it is to set the name. Otherwise, we can set the name and then dive into domains and stuff, if anybody had any ideas.
Can't find the page on the PDF.
Names are hard. Is there like a suggested
on the
name?
PDF, it's 95 because,
Okay.
you know, layout stuff.
Thank you.
I can't think of a good name right now. I always like to have
Yeah.
a really I don't know, I'm one of those really annoying people. It's like the name has to have like several layers to it.
Right.
Like it needs to be a Greek, Roman,
Right, that
and
means
Aztec,
something, and then
like
if-
reference.
Right, and it's
I
something
will
else
leave that
spelled
up to you.
backwards, and it's an acronym for something else, and then it...
Yeah.
No, I totally...
I'm along for the ride on this.
I like that
Yeah,
sort of
really
stuff,
cool.
though. I'm with you on that, Ellen. Like, I like that. So what we can
Yeah.
do is let's move forward from name. That's, you know, that's like icing on the cake sort of fun stuff. So let's get into, like, the domains. Let's talk about what the primary domain and the secondary domain is going to be. As a house miner, you get one primary and one secondary. And you can see in there the areas of expertise. So basically you pick... one of those domains, and then you look underneath to decide exactly kind of what the expertise of it is. And the first, your main domain is basically like what you're known for. So the house like is famous for that or great at it. There's very few competitors of that. You're like at the top of the chain for that. Your secondary domain isn't necessarily that. You know what I mean?
I like to say espionage as one of them. That's just one that always stands out to me, but I am open.
No,
If we promote the espionage, though, then it makes it difficult to be spies.
That's
That's
my
the-
only concern.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
thought too.
Point. That's a good point.
But
If
then
we
it's
promote
like,
it, then yeah.
Yeah, when I was
the
reading through it,
Harkonnens
I
are
had
pretty
that.
lazy.
I
Like
had-
they might just trust if you
That's
say
true.
you're a spy working for them.
That's
then
true
they might just
too.
assume that
Mhm.
you wouldn't have the cojones to break away from them. I don't know.
That's
We
psychology
have
times
all the
3.
cojones.
This is
Oh,
an
yeah.
all cojone team.
Yeah, when I read
We
through
collect
this,
them from our enemies.
I kind of felt that same way, like you said, Jess. When I was reading through it, it was like I saw some of these, just like some of the what is it? Focuses after archetypes and but yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. Like some of them stuck out to me, like, oh, that's badass, that's awesome, that's this. But then when you think about like the bigger picture of the house and what the
Yeah.
team's trying to do, it's like, I don't know that the mother would set it up like that. I think, like what Jess was suggesting, like maybe finding something for the house that
Yeah.
doesn't hint towards what you as a
What we
undercover
actually
task
are.
force. Yeah, because every house has agents, right? Like everyone, you're gonna
Yeah.
have agents doing missions,
Good
doing
point.
stuff, and like that. But the fact that you're all Bene Gesserits, you're working for the Reverend as like a special task force, it needs to be a little more under wraps. Like you absolutely can look like agents of the house, But I think if the house also looks like it's into shit that BGs are doing, it might be harder to cover up. And then that also puts you in direct with Harkonnen, which might fuck with canon a little bit.
fair.
It's like something simple like selling cabbages. Right?
Yeah, you
Even
get,
like
you get my point. Yeah, something like
And
that.
On
even-
a rack. On
even-
Arrakis.
Well,
yeah,
not-
why not?
You know, even the idea though, I was looking at this of, and I don't know how much the Harkonnens would be interested in this, but like if we had something like artistic to where they probably want to be entertained at some point. So, you know, as a house minor, being like, oh, we're known for our awesome entertainment. And that could be a way that we get into
I like that.
the big house.
Yeah.
Look at
I'm always an artsy type.
Yeah,
With,
PWB in chat says pick a cover story first, so that kind of makes sense,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Picking that out. And the other thing to keep in
Yeah.
mind too, because you're on Arrakis, like, you know, you could be a house. And this is something I was chatting with Kira about, Michael Edmonds on our Discord, part of the Cybernation Uncensored Discord, part of the community. But we were talking about could possibly be not direct with harvesting, processing spice, since we know that's like the biggest thing on Arrakis, but maybe it can be something like a house that handles shipping logistics or manages all the contracts with other houses, or trains and produces harvest workers, or manufactures the harvesting machines, or anything that would be like related to spice in some manner maybe could work. But I'm also down with like artistic, food, any type of mining, because the other thing is Arrakis. Let's see, there's a page 65 of the book, which is probably like 70 something of the PDF, I'm not sure, but on 65 they talk about Arrakis primary exports, right? And like it's obviously the spice melange, we know, but also they have alcohol, coffee, mining, and politics. So there's some weird things to think about too. Like maybe your house could be involved with mining or coffee or alcohol or politicians somehow. I don't know. That might be a little too canon, like getting involved. Like I said, I don't want to put you guys direct with Harkonnen right away anyways.
Coffee might be a good thing
They're your
because
major,
I
but-
mean, like we know that the Fremen, like it's a delicacy there. It's like a thing that they drink and enjoy. So if we were a house on Arrakis, like a minor one, it might be like in exporting or
yeah.
like or even importing different kind of varieties of
gotta bring-
coffee.
We gotta bring
'Cause, like,
Starbucks to Arrakis.
But then also we have
I mean, not. I actually
They
work
gotta
in
be
Starbucks, so
it's too
But
real. It's too
but then
real.
we also have like some like potential, you know, repartee
talking-
with the Fremen because we're an exporter or an importer. So then it's kind of like we can
we could
make
hide
our
in the
dealings.
boxes if we need to.
Yeah. I kind of like. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love
that's
coffee,
good.
so I'm down with it.
Girl.
A dark roast, a medium roast, or a blonde roast? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Depends
All
on
of
the day.
And keep in mind, you don't have to pick one of those. Like I know, like Jess was talking about, like maybe some farming stuff, which is also interesting on Arrakis Desert Planet. Like you guys figuring out ways to do some type of farming thing also is interesting to me. Don't feel obligated to be, you know, Arrakis export oriented. I just wanted to mention those exports as options or whatever. But it does sound like you all love coffee, and that might be a cool one anyways. So I don't know.
It's like it could
you know.
be like a product, or it could be like an entertainment, like like you said. Like
oh yeah.
it could
Oh,
be.
Rocket
Well, we
said
have
something
a-
about arts too.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I like
Yeah.
all these ideas. So
One that we can have one as a primary, and then
I was gonna say,
just
what-
choose the other one as a secondary.
What's the
Yeah.
like the second, like what? How much does that entail? How much does that involve? Like, so the primary is obviously the big one, but how much does the secondary domain, like, how much of an impact does that really have?
not that much. Like I mean,
Okay.
keep in mind it can come into gameplay. Absolutely, it sets vibes and things like that. But it's not like you're famous for it.
Okay.
You know, the
Okay.
secondary is, I guess, something for me to use. It's just more flavor in the house,
Okay.
something you guys do.
Got it.
But it's that primary domain where, like, you know, you're kind of famous for that shit. Like, that's what the house
Yeah.
is known for, and that'll be a bit more influential, you know?
If we were gonna, depends like which route we're going down. I guess we've discussed like entertainment down that route, where it's like either arts or music or etc. 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 Right? Stand-up comedians, whatever you want to go down that way, or because I'm awful with jokes, so probably not that way. Or we can go down, like you said, product. We can always do like food or farming or expertise in that way, like Kira said in the chat, like somewhere down there. I think we have to kind of choose a lane that we want to kind of focus on, and then choose an
think-
expertise in those.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too depends on what we think our main objective is going to be. Like if we're wanting to sneak into other places,
That's true too.
being
Is
under the guise of like,
yeah, I would look at it this way. You know your main objective is like you're doing missions for the Reverend. The Reverend Mother needs you to do gigs and do different things, and it might involve politics, fighting, action. You know how I am. I like a nice mix of all types of gameplay, right? But part of that is also like we need the house to be a front. So like it has to appear real. It makes sense on Arrakis. You're gonna have to maintain business, and sometimes aside from doing gigs as like the agents, this task force for the Reverend, there might be some gigs where like you have to go do something to make sure the house can continue and deal with enemies or problems. So yeah, I would definitely look at the bigger picture, like you were just saying. Like, okay, if you guys have to be agents of the house, but you're also like the secret task force, what would help that? Like, what would be a good primary, like that the house is famous for, that like throws the scent off that you're not secret agents, like not espionage, but something maybe you could use. Like you said, oh, if we do this, we might be able to use that as to sneak into places or do something. I don't know. Maybe there's some benefit.
Oh my god, we could be a band of bards.
Yeah, I mean the arts are always like, because no one's going to be looking at the inner day workings.
Right.
Like, no one's
like,
going to be
no one
scrutinizing
cares.
No, because it's like as long as you have a product by the end, no one's going to come in because it doesn't have like a quantifiable, if you're in accounting, then if people come in and you're not working on accounting, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Whereas like, you could be training people in swordsmanship and someone's like, what are you doing? It's like, it is for
we have a show coming up.
It's for a play.
A performance, yeah.
And like, while I don't think the Harkonnens are that hot on the arts,
they probably get bored once in a while.
Yeah, it might make their life a bit easier though to distract the Fremen and other people.
Yeah.
What if we had like, what if we had in our house, we had like for example, quote unquote a girl group or a boy, like whatever, right? And we're just bodyguards or whatever, right? We support this group. Or we are the group, whatever, like whatever we want to do with that. We either do that, and then no one's going to question us because we're just doing our jobs, right?
And
we're
it
just
does
doing our
get
jobs.
us into places because it's
Exactly.
true. I think people want to be entertained at the end of the day, so that gets
Like
us
even-
to talk to certain important people and things like that.
Yeah.
Like
that
even if
crosses
the Baron
over.
wanted entertainment, we could always supply that, right?
Yeah.
For example, if anyone like that, anyone higher up in power, we like you were saying, we could always get closer to them.
Yeah, and arts can always like circumvent different cultural boundaries. Like if you don't necessarily speak the same language, it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Here is a ballet. Like it doesn't matter if we cannot communicate in the same language.
That's true. Art,
Like-
universal language, right?
And we can barter in like pricing, whatever. If we need like economy, I guess, in sense, we can always barter for a certain. It's a performance. It's based on what we want to barter for, how much it is, right? There's no set price on that. So it's whatever we think is worth it, I guess.
I like that. I like the arts idea. I like the coffee idea. Those two, out of all the ones that have been kicked around so far, I love those two the most. Like doing something with the arts or something like that. Something with coffee, because I do like it being a big export of Arrakis, the whole Fremen tie-in. Like that's kind of cool too. But aside from me liking those two, it's up to the team, obviously, what you four really feel for the house, right? But I do want to mention a couple things from chat, because I love chat contributing ideas. And as Kira says here in chat, he loves building houses in this system, if you can't tell. So he keeps kicking out suggestions. So does PWB. I love it, though. But let's see. Kira says political mediators, maybe. You are known to produce expert mediators, excuse me, to help solve other inter-house disputes. That's interesting, too. Very political. Another, keep in mind, you, the players, don't have to be involved with the domains. You are agents serving the house rulers to solve their problems. Exactly, that's true. But the thing I want to mention is it is kind of important to have that into play, because you're not just the agents of the house. You're this undercover task force for the Reverend Mother, meaning there might be times, like I think Jess mentioned earlier, you might use those domains as your benefit to do a mission. Like if you're shipping coffee, can you hide in the crates, like you said earlier? Or if you're putting on some artistic show or providing art something, can you be putting on a show and then doing something behind the scenes, you know. So I think it's important to have these domains make sense to the bigger picture so you can use them. But yeah, I think out of the ones I read in chat, and PWB, how about a house hired to tutor the children of the lords? Oh, I like that too. Tutor them in everything. I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, out of all of these, okay, if we're on Arrakis, you're in Arrakeen, you've got the house miner. I would say one of those three interests me the most, but it's up to you four. I like the coffee idea. And we're talking about primary. Secondary, you know, it can be any one of these, right? But for primary, famous for, known for, your main house hustle or whatever, I love the coffee idea. I love any type of art idea, whether performing or producing an art product or something artistic. And then I do like that tutoring children of other houses and things. You know, it gets you intermixing. But I mean, all these things intermix stuff. So what do you want to be famous for and known for with the house? Or another idea? Those are just the three main ones I like.
I think arts is the most
think so,
easily to keep up as a front. And
tutoring kids, they're going to be on that.
Yeah, and also it's it's the easiest to kind of manipulate as a front to meet our own ends.
Okay.
Agreed.
Let's go with that then.
Okay.
Let's pick something
Artistic
from...
it is.
Yeah.
I think
What kind
it's
of art?
the most freedom.
Yeah, I think like Kira's so good at all of like these brainstormings. So it's like this is how cool the book is. It's just like you can just throw so many really complex ideas, and like each one of them would have a really great story attached to them. Yeah. Just choosing that's hard.
And that, Kira, that's why I said that the main house hustle coming from Cyberpunk, it just reminds me of like that side hustle or like your main gig hustle sort of role. Like I felt that like that primary domain feels like the main house hustle, you know. But yeah, if you guys
now give us half an hour to decide what kind of arts we're going to do.
There you go. Yeah, what's the expertise? You know, what's the expertise here? If you look at artistic, you'll see down there machinery, produce, expertise, workers, understanding, and you can see little examples of what those mean. What are you all feeling?
Plays.
I think so.
Plays.
Yeah,
I like plays.
I like that too.
Yeah,
I think
see,
that's
it's
fun.
Are we doing?
We can
Is
send
it
them
musicals
messages
or is it
subliminally
normal?
through our plays.
Well, that makes sense why we would be able to operate maybe like outside of scrutiny of the Harkonnens is if we were making propaganda plays.
Propaganda. That's what I'm saying. Like, we could subliminally manipulate people to believing certain things based on what we put in our plays. Like, if we want to send a message, we can, like, do that very tastefully through a specific play or things like that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So-
I'm sorry, I'm just writing all this down.
I am too.
I'm tracking it.
If y'all see me looking down a lot, I'm
Me
taking
too.
a lot of names. So
You don't have a little whelp, you know, dictating for you.
right for me.
Like,
We're not that high in the house yet. Okay,
So-
we don't have.
So it
would we be the actors or would we be like
That
the
was gonna
stage
be-
crew?
That was going to be
Yeah.
my question is, look at it this way, right? If the house's main hustle, what it's famous for, its main domain is artistic, producing plays, how does the house do this? Is it, you know, it's obviously producing plays, it's putting together, you know, the full production, which as we know in production, you know, from the writing to the acting to performing behind the scenes, crew, cast, that sort of vibe. Like Jess said, how do you see all of you? Because obviously you guys are going to be agents of the house, and we'll go over the different agent roles and, you know, archetypes and stuff. But I think it would be kind of cool in the house itself if maybe they're like you. I don't want to give you like a role, like a specific role for the house. I think those would be NPCs, right, that are fronting the fake house while you all are the agents. But when it comes to the plays, do you think all of you are involved, or is it a house thing and then you are agents behind the scenes, or do you want to be involved in the actual play? Like Jess was saying, are we acting in it, or are we just agents behind the scenes using that as a front while we go and do our missions, or are you part of it and then doing things, or how do you picture it all working with it?
When I had gone through the character sheet before, I initially built it as a consort. So I don't know that I feel like it could, if we're all agents, it could be perhaps a little suspicious to have us all in the same spot, or not even just suspicious, but more dangerous, like having us all as one unit.
Yeah, but there are
Could be different parts. of it.
We could handle different parts. Like I happy to like throw aside character creation, but like I think I've initially made my character as quite like martial. But like that could come from that she could be a movement instructor, you know, she could be the choreographer.
Yeah.
If it was like back into the production, and if a character doesn't, if an agent doesn't not want to be a face for the production, there's plenty of behind the scenes things that
I was just
she
thinking.
could also
Based on what you just said, I was just thinking that it could maybe be the type of thing where, you know, the house is known for producing these plays, putting them on, entertaining people, right? But maybe when you go, like if you need to physically actually be part of these plays or go to or use them as a tool to get to a place or whatever, however you want to word these things, maybe you're not acting in it, performing in it, whatever, but you guys are like production managers, you know, like you guys are appearing like working for the house, not as the agents you are, those archetypes, but not as a role in a house, but just as like a worker or like, you know what I mean? Like you're part of the play, but you're a manager there. That way you're not fully locked into like a role of the house where you have to worry about that aspect of play all the time. You're not locked into the agent when it comes to utilizing the domain. You can kind of play back and forth. I don't know, kind of secretively walk that line a little bit, which allows you to be that secret task force for the Reverend, I think that'll work.
Nothing high profile, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you're producing the plays as the house, but not like you all have to act or sing or be in them, you know what I mean? Unless you want to.
Like maybe
in the future.
representatives. Yeah.
Unless that's a cover.
Exactly. Because I don't want to take that away. I think that would be kind of fun in a session, you know, if there was a time when you guys had to perform or do something as a cover, that'd be fun.
Maybe one person on stage telling us where certain people are in the crowd or whatever.
Oh, that's a clever idea. Yeah. Like improv singing.
All I can think of is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yes, that guy right there in front of me.
No, not him. Just a little to the left.
My left.
That's awesome. No, I like
totally
that.
one of us would end up doing that for sure.
So if
the
artistic...
house Archetypes is like, I don't understand. What kind of weird music is this? It's very, very eclectic.
Abstract.
Very avant-garde.
It's avant-garde. But if artistic and you know, producing plays is the main domain, what would be the secondary?
Coffee.
Coffee? Okay, perfect.
I
love it.
I love it.
The arts and you can't have one without the other.
So that would be...
Oh my god! We could have the shows and supply people in the crowd with coffee.
Yeah.
So would that be the farming aspect, or I guess industrial producing? Yeah.
Industrial.
That would probably,
We do the roasting. We do everything.
Yeah, because
we do it all in house.
Yeah, avoid the farming. Let's avoid the farming. You guys do the industrial side of that, of producing the coffee. And that's kind of fun too, because for role playing, you know, I can incorporate you working with, you know, different farms, different houses for sourcing things. If that comes up, if there's things outside of just the normal agent work, I like that. All right, I'm gonna write that down. Industrial.
Do we do the washing process, the, you know, roasting process? Yeah.
Makes sense. Why we? Do you need to roast anything in Arrakis, or do you just leave it out in the sun?
Yeah, right.
It has to be watched over, you know.
Stand there and watch it. Yeah, that's your job. Stand there for 24 hours.
I watch the beans.
Yeah, and when you
just dust them off.
Yeah, when you pick that, we've got to pick our traits. Yeah, and traits here, let me just make sure I'm right about that. That basically plays into your main domain here. Let me look it up in the house, because I know on the character sheet, you know, the first one is kind of your personal title, and then your second one is kind of your... I think the house works a little different. Okay, yeah, first one is... So first one would be kind of like as a suggestion, maybe it's like you're known as being artistic or entertaining, something like that, you know what I mean? Or what you do, or maybe that's the second one. Let me make sure I have that right. Because with traits, there's kind of two descriptive words you use. I want to make sure I get that right. Bear with me, chat.
It's on page 102. No, I lied.
Hold on, I've got it here.
Because you're a
Traits.
spy.
Yeah, one is based page 100 of the PDF. One is based on the primary domain. Exactly. I can't remember if it was the first or second because I know the Harkonnen was listed as an example. Like their second is known as brutal, right? But hold on. I want to make sure I get that right because.
Just while we're doing that, for our coffee output, are we in the also in the production? Or was that in?
Oh yeah, no, coffee producing, absolutely.
Producing,
the house trait, it says, like the Harkonnen, the trait details the rest of the Imperium. Okay, so each house begins with a descriptive trait of the reputation, might be honorable, like the Atreides, or brutal for Harkonnen. Okay, so the first one is the reputation. Begins with a descriptive trait for its reputation. And like I said, I think if your primary domain here is artistic, I would go with like entertaining or artistic, or that would be kind of the. What do you got?
I have a pitch.
Go on.
Decadent.
Really?
Especially because we also do coffee, so it's like
It goes for both. I like
Traits
sorry,
decadent.
it's my favorite. It's my favorite word.
it. I love it. It has a real vibe to it,
Yeah, it's also
Oh,
great
right,
to use it as an insult. Like, you decadent hussy is what I've taken to calling one of my best friends.
And not me. I'm let down by this.
I'm working on a cross stitch rocket. Don't worry.
Yes.
Oh, I guess with the house trait, you just have one trait.
Oh,
It's
erudite.
it's not what I thought. I guess the character one was the one I was thinking about, where you have the two. It's kind of your title, and then how you are. But I guess with the house trait, it's to select traits. These traits, page 102, can be used by any. Maybe it is plural. Now, each house also begins with the descriptive. Each house begins with a trait for any primary domain it has. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, because of being a minor house, you have one primary domain. I knew there was something to it. I'm glad I found it. It was driving me crazy. Each house begins with a trait for any primary domain it has. The trait is the same as the area of expertise for that domain. So that makes sense. Yeah. Each house also begins with a descriptive trait for its reputation. So that's the second one. So, I would say decadent. If that's what it is. Let's see.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, because like for instance, like the example they have one that's doing the same thing, like creating poetry, right? So their trait is artistic. As the house hides its assassination training camps, which is its secondary, and looking to create a new name for itself. The group decides the house has been plotting for some time, gaining the trait secretive as its reputation house trait. So something to think about. Yeah, it's like your primary should maybe be, it could be decadent, like, leaning into that artistic descriptive trait. But then how do you think it would be, your reputation-wise?
Ooh.
Again, I think... I don't know.
It's hard because we could make it
because it feels artistic
not
to me.
easier for ourselves, but it's like
You could say professional.
or like this controls how other people see us. So it's like we could go like foolish and then have everyone underestimate us.
I don't know. I like something elegant, because like decadent makes me think it's something like high, like improper, or I don't know. I think
I do too.
I think we would be respected and like seen, like going to like the plays are, people dress up to go to them. It's not like you're like in your casual clothes. Like you would wear more formal clothing and things like that.
The thing is, though, if we went for professionalism, then they wouldn't expect an underhanded task force.
Yeah.
Because when I think, decadent, I definitely think like luxurious and.
Is there something about elite?
Oh.
Like this isn't just like your amateur, your amdrams, like.
Yeah.
Amateur hour.
Yeah, this isn't gutter kind of art. This is very high, refined, polished art that is sold as an export to like the higher houses kind of thing.
Well, not every house gets to have it either.
Yeah. So it's like, this is.
I mean, that makes me think Elite's good. Yeah.
This isn't a clown show. This is the opera kind of thing. Like that's the vibe we're going for.
And
I like Elite for that.
Yeah, I think it says in the book that the player can spend the momentum. Just getting a little bit into crunch, but we'll get into that when we actually play. But momentum, just like action points and things like that, you can use momentum to do certain things and gain advantages if you apply the house traits to your character in a scene. But it sounds like that is attached to the first trait there. Kira in chat is trying to help. He says the second trait should be something you might want to spend momentum to trigger effect in a scene. But the book definitely says that the player uses that on the house trait, based on the first domain. So that sounds like the first trait, because then it says each house also begins with a descriptive trait like the reputation. And again, we don't need to trip up on this too much to make it too trivial, but I'm cool with, decadent if you want to appear, luxurious or whatever with that. The plays, it sounds like it should be attached to your primary domain. So if you're going to go with decadent, I guess it would mean that the plays that you're producing and things should be luxurious and elaborate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sometimes treat.
Right, and then I guess the way that would play in, and I'm going to reread these rules 100 times before we dive into session 1, but it sounds like with the momentum use, if you're using that, it would be in moments in a scene where maybe you can play into luxurious moments or being decadent or being kind of that upper class sort of vibe with it, right? And then maybe you could get some momentum that way or use it to get an advantage in a scene. But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and if we have to switch, the primary trait with the secondary, if we got that a little mixed up, we can always change that in the future. But I like it. We can go with decadent for now. And then reputation, if the second is more of reputation across the Landstrad, what do you think for a minor house that's producing plays, that's coming across decadent, that's also making coffee on the side? What's the reputation, I would lean more towards
decadent and delicious.
Yeah. Well, reputation of house, not the product. Like reputation as a
as a house. Everyone thinks we're a delicious house.
Everyone needs a taste. No, but
that's right.
Yeah. No,
I like professional or elite or something like that. That it's like other houses see us, and it's like, oh, okay, like they're very good at what they do.
I got that shit together.
I like.
They only do these things, but they do them very well.
Yeah,
I still like elite. I feel like.
I like artistic. The only thing with elite is it's less of like a descriptive trait and more of like a role to me. Like when you say elite, it's more of like a classification than a trait. So I'm like, it doesn't fit well with me as much. But I like I like professional. That seems descriptive, I also liked artistic because that fit into doing the plays. But yeah, if you guys like professionalism or being a professional, let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
And like I said, we can adjust these a little bit if we get into session 1 or 2 and we realize we had things a little bit off or that didn't make enough sense with what we're really doing as a house. It would make more sense to change it. We can always alter things as we go. And that's part of the rules too. You can see in the rule book, sometimes your traits and motivations, things will change as you go. Just like in real life, your motivations and things evolve. So.
Or fake it till I make it.
Exactly.
We could definitely have that.
Eventually you'll be professional.
That's the house motto.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like it.
I kind of like that. I really like
It's funny.
I have a potential house name. I don't know.
Oh.
Well, there needs
I'm
to.
so ready.
Well, before you give that, there
Yes.
needs to be a house motto. You know, we got to get into the whole. Well, we already went over home world. We got to get into banners and arms and like a house motto. I don't know
I think
if
we
you.
just did it, right?
I don't know if
Until
you
we
want.
make it.
I love it. I think it's funny and clever to what's really going on behind the scenes. But I don't know if that's like a good public house motto for someone trying to be decadent and professional.
Our group motto.
Like we're so professional and decadent, we're faking it till we make it. It's our
Yeah,
slogan.
yeah.
Like,
No,
that's-
it goes with our acting. You fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
No,
What did you think? All right. What did you think of the house name? Though you did have an idea for that. What do you think on that,
Oh,
Ellen?
Sitara,
Oh, I
which
like
is
that.
the Arabic word for curtain.
Oh,
that is really cool.
And I
Love
thought that
it.
was cool because it's like, it's also, because we're spies and assassins, it's like, it's curtains for you.
What was it again?
I-
How do you spell it? What was it again?
Sitara. So
Sitara.
Sitara.
I googled it after you
Cool.
said it.
also you never know what happens behind curtains, behind closed curtains.
Like a
Hey.
veil.
I
Yeah.
love that.
There's levels
I
to
love it, yeah.
There's levels.
You're totally
Yeah.
right. You came up with one that has levels.
I like it.
Perfect. Yeah,
That's
love
all
it.
I'm good for in this game. I'll be out now.
And she's out.
Or we can have it backwards too.
And camera
Even
goes
more
black.
later.
She logs out. I'm done.
Aratus.
No, I like
Arrakis.
it. No, I like it. Sitara, you're on Arrakis. You're a house miner. Your traits are decadent, thanks to the plays and things you do. Professional, also thanks to to the way you run the house. The domain's artistic. You produce plays. Secondary, industrial. You make coffee, which comes in handy when you're pulling those 12-hour days producing a play, and you need to live off of caffeine, I guess.
It ain't easy.
Exactly.
No.
What do you
Hard
think?
work.
Yeah, what do you think about the motto though? Fitting with the vibe. Considering the motto is kind of your tagline or whatever. It's the motto of the house, the overall.
Maybe something with curtains, like open the curtain, or like something, something about a stage.
Yeah. All I can think of
Smiles
is
on people's
Shakespeare.
faces.
All the world's a stage.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that too.
I've-
Something
I've
like that
ripped
might be
off-
cool.
I've ripped off Willie S.
Yeah, let's go Shakespeare.
Billy
Thankfully-
Wigglespeare.
Thankfully, he
Billy.
can't sue me. But... So, shout out to Bill. Billy S.
Ooh, I like this though. Kira does say in chat, "All the world is our stage."
Ooh, I like that.
Or universe.
Fancy.
I like
I
that
like
too.
that a lot,
The
yeah.
universe is our stage would be
The
better for Dune.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
PWB
That's
says,
not intimidating.
is decadent the right word, characterized by or reflecting a state of moral, cultural decline?
Some people feel that way about
No.
the arts.
No, I think. I don't. Isn't there? There's more. I thought decadent had to do with like luxurious.
Yeah,
like a-
it's,
Hold on,
it's,
let's look.
there's also the noun.
I'm sure
a
there's-
person
yeah, I was just
Who
gonna
is
say, I'm
luxuriously self-indulgent.
self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so or characterized by or appealing to self-indulgence,
Yes, which is perfect.
because it's
Universe
like we're
is
not
good.
asking you to pay. I forget the currency, but it's like we're not asking you to pay $10 for this. This is something you would pay like
100.
upwards of 100 or 1,000 even. Like
Yeah.
we are asking you to imbibe, to
I like it.
be luxurious.
Yeah, leaning into that side. Okay, PW says, okay, good. I like decadent. Okay, PWB is sold. We're good to go. We're moving on. we got the PWB comment of approval. And
Session,
I appreciate
session
it.
0 is basically like Shark Tank, where we come
It really
in,
is.
We're pitching high and low.
We're hoping chat approves. They tune in again. If they don't, we failed. Like it's like we're making it happen. All right, cool. PWB,
curtains
LOL,
for us.
crying inside. That's funny. All right, cool. No, I think we got it. Let's get into what do you think about banners and arms? Like house color, look, all that stuff. Like the banner.
It's gotta be the two faces, the acting faces. Like,
yeah.
it's
Something like
gotta
that would be cool. Yeah.
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 And then like a bunch of like velvet ribbons, like because it's decadent, right? So a bunch of like that kind of design, like elegant,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also
I
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it
Yeah.
could be something with those masks and, like you said, with like ribbons, maybe jeweled or something to make it luxurious and expensive looking or something along those lines. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note of that. And then I think the thing there is, if any of you are good artists, try to sketch something up, and we'll put it on the sheet and maybe bring it up on
What do you
stream once
mean?
in a
That
while.
just... Oh, you can't see it.
Can't, it's
Nah,
too
it's
light.
bright.
Oh, there it is.
It's a really
There it
shady
is.
drawing.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Hey.
I see it.
What more do you
Gonna
need?
end up being
Done.
stickmen. Did you realize mine will end up being stickmen? That's it. That's as much as well as it's gonna go.
Mine will just be 2 smiley faces with a ribbon. No, I don't know. No, I think that
Well,
works.
one smiley face, one frowny face.
Exactly. No, and I'll get, and aside from us sketching it, maybe I'll try to get Crosswire, one of our artists here at Cybernation Uncensored that streams with us. He streams like the second Wednesday of every month live art with us. Maybe I'll get him to sketch out a logo for the house. That would be really cool.
Do we
I
have,
think Tom just had a good idea.
Because you generally pick 2 colors as well. Do we have a
Yeah,
preference for
yeah.
colors?
What do you guys think about house colors?
Red and gold royalty.
Ooh.
I like that.
I like it. I like
that.
it.
Red and gold. Like the faces could be gold and silver, and then you'd have like the red ribbons and
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sold. I'm
Love
sold.
it.
It's also
Perfect.
just great
I'm
colours
a
to
concept
wear.
person. I can't actually draw, so
I'm more
concept
of an
only.
ideas guy.
Yeah. Fully.
Nice. All right, cool. So I think we've got the house except for roles and enemies. Let's get into that a little bit. When it comes to roles, like I said, this is more an NPC thing. Having a ruler, a consort, an heir, an advisor, chief physician, counselor, envoy, marshal, scholar, spy master, sword master, treasurer, and war master. So yeah, these are like kind of the main house roles, typically run by NPCs. These are the ones, maintaining the house as a front for the Reverend, so you all can do your secret missions and stuff. With these roles, what do you think? Do you want to, come up with some names and stuff here? To me, I feel like that's less important for a session 0 for what we're doing.
I think we do it in chat.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think maybe,
Yeah.
we'll come up with some creative names for some of these roles, right? If you guys have ideas for, like, interesting personalities, like you want your ruler to be, a funny guy, or he's kind of real serious and angry all the time because of the way he has to always answer to the Reverend while trying to maintain the house. Little things like that. Think about that, and let's put that
Can our
into
ruler
chat.
Can our ruler be the youngest kid who didn't actually want the job but ended up getting the job?
There you go. I like that. Let's discuss this for a moment because I kind of like where this is going. Let's at least do the main things here. Let's talk about the ruler of the house, right? The nobleman who's running it. The family. They're running the house. He's the ruler, but obviously he has to work with the Reverend Mother because he knows that he has you guys as agents of the house. But you're also the secret task force for the Reverend. So what kind of personality do you think he would have? Like Jess said, would he be, like that, or would he
He'd
be
be
kind
the
of
she.
He'd
Or
have to,
she?
yeah,
Yeah.
they'd have to be like
young, old,
absolute
angry about it, happy about it? What do you
browbeater, or not browbeater, like they'd have to be browbeaten in that, like none of. If we came in and said, actually, all of this is being changed, they'd just have to accept
They
it.
would-
Yeah,
And
I
so
don't
it's like-
care.
I like it.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, this person's probably just like an absolute loser who's just like, if I push too hard against that, or if I try to, like, I still need to be good at my job. But if I am,
But lets everyone else run the show. Like, just
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
dig ahead.
yeah, but if I'm pushing boundaries, I will absolutely, like, probably be taken in the back and, like, so
Okay,
it's
so
like,
maybe the ruler, she's like, she realizes there's this balance, but you want her to be a little bit of a given. Like she realizes she doesn't really have the power. She knows, like, if she goes too off the rails or doesn't follow the rules of what needs to be done or whatever, the Reverend will be pissed at her. Or is that the vibe you're saying? And I also really love the idea of making the ruler a she, a female, because it also makes sense, this task force being all female and not trying to let everyone know that you're Bene Gesserits, right? So you have a female ruler that's like, well, I tend to hire females, like I put my fellow females in power in as agents and things, like, to kind of throw the scent off that you're all Bene Gesserits,
Yeah.
We're operating under the guise of girl boss.
Right. Girl power.
We could make her young. Like, she got the throne just, like, you know, really young because she didn't actually
Yeah.
want it. So she
Just
could
like
be
a
like,
puppet
Yeah.
king, puppet
Yeah.
like
queen.
16. Yeah, like 16, something young. I don't know.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing, but she kind of lets us do what we kind of want because she
It's a good
has no idea.
I kind of like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poor
Yeah.
girl, but
Yeah. Right.
That should be
What
fine.
happens
She'll
when
be
you're
fine.
when you're in a feudal system? So yeah,
And what about
most
if she's the-
16-year-olds are usually princesses
And if
or
she's-
whatever getting married.
Every member of the house has a role to play, so don't go too far off script. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Elaborate
Probably
on
in
that,
relation
Stink Palm.
to Probably in the relation to the head of the household.
Yeah. No, well, because that was going to be my question too. Is if like the head, the ruler, is this young female? What's her family? You know, what's her family doing if she's that young and
they all
running-
died.
They dead.
That's it. Yeah, they all died.
They died.
But let's say her
Yeah.
father got assassinated because he was meant to have the throne. But he
I
had
like
the throne,
that.
right? He got assassinated. She was the only child. Mother died at birth. Da, 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 right?
There you
Like
go.
that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Perfect. No, I like that. Then yeah. So
Sorry,
no
I
family.
make really sad characters. Sorry.
No.
I
It
mean,
has
that
to
works
make
for me.
it has to make sense to what's happening, and that does. You know, it's the only way. You know, unless they're present and involved. So if she's the ruler, it would make sense that they're dead. And then you know maybe the fact that happened and she's a young female also leans into the Bene Gesserit. You know, the Reverend stepping in, finding her like, you know what, I'll give you a purpose here. Maybe you're not trained as Bene Gesserit, but I have another purpose for you. You know, and working with her. You know, to kind of run this
He
house.
took her
as a
under her
front.
wing.
Exactly.
Yeah, she took her under the wing. Yeah.
But not as a
this-
full
this-
Bene
this
Gesserit, because I don't
whole
want her to
thing-
have any, you know, powers and things. Shout
I
out
was just
to
going to say,
Initiative
this
Order
whole thing
for the follow.
smacks of political assassination as well. So
Oh, yeah.
it's like, even the Bene Gesserits might have also been like, we'll take you in, but they might have also caused this situation.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is it also leads to some possible, you know, tension in the sense that you've got this young female ruler that's been put in this position as the front, but she's a bit of a target. You know, she's young. She doesn't have family, so it can cause some other turmoil too, where like, you know, aside from your secret missions, maybe something comes up with, hey, you've got to help maintain the house with this and that because, you know, she's a young ruler and having a hard time. I like that. I like that. Good thinking, Jess. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. Do we have a name for her?
Not offhand.
Names.
I know, I hate that. The book suggests some.
Sierra.
The book
Sierra.
has a list of names on page. Where is that? Rolls. I know
I was going to say some deviation of Marie, mainly because it's like,
Oh, I
if
like
she's a
that.
puppet queen, something like Marie Antoinette. Like, maybe Maria.
Yeah, we could go with that. Page
with me.
names are on
It's
page.
like a deathly
Sorry, I was.
silence.
I was reading. I apologize. Page 123 of the Dune rulebook. Now that's the physical book. It's probably 130 something in the PDF, but they give suggested names in the Dune style, which is very, you know, Middle Eastern, Asian sort of influence. But you can check out. They have some examples there. But I'm so cool with just using Maria or something like that. If you guys are.
I like how they
I think it's
literally
fine.
have like Chani and Jessica. Like, who's gonna name their character after canon character? I mean, you could. But
Yeah, I don't like that.
I know. It's like,
Don't forget, this is the
That is
universe
my
that
name?
also has Duncan.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I see.
I like Maria
What's
though.
wrong?
I
What's
do-
wrong with Jessica?
Paul.
Oh no. I love the name
Ow.
Jessica personally, and she's my favorite character.
Oh, so badass in the new movie too. Like, oh my gosh, she's so badass.
I'm with her.
So
Yeah.
Paul is a very boring name, and he's our main
Yeah.
character for the first
I like
book. So.
if we're cool with Maria, I'm cool with that, and we can always change it
works.
by session 1. If something pops into somebody's head and you want to drop it in chat, you know, before session 1, like, hey, I thought of this, and we're cool, we'll change it. You know, it's not detrimental to having fun and stuff of the game. So let's go with Maria for now. I'm gonna put that down. Yeah, as far as other, I think that's the main role I was concerned with, and I like that we gave her kind of like a little bit of a history, personality stuff. I can play with that. I can get a vibe of it. As far as the other roles, I don't think it's that important right now. We can fill in NPC names and things with that. I like that we covered the ruler. So that being said, let's get into enemies. Let's get into house enemies. So if we go to page 96 of the rulebook, anybody following along? Ellen or somebody let them know what that is in the PDF. I apologize.
Finding
so
it.
good.
Finding it.
Yeah, 96 of the physical book.
Is 105
Okay.
of the PDF.
Thank you.
Yeah, so a house minor
worries.
has
Oh, thanks.
has one minor house as an enemy, and we roll on these. There's some tables here, so I thought it might be kind of cool if you roll on these tables and decide. There's 1, 2, 3 tables, but there's 4 of you. So I don't know if 2 of you want to roll and then we can pick one. You know what I mean? Like, I've always done that with Life Path and other systems like Cyberpunk Red, where like instead of just rolling once on that chart, roll it twice. So it is by chance, but you have a little bit of choice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we could do something like that with one of these, like either hatred or reason. Oh, reason. I had that wrong. That's still part of the same chart. So there's 2 charts. So that works out good. We'll do 2 and 2. So Miss Magitech and Ellen, why don't each of you roll a 1d20 and let me know what it is?
Sure will. I've got the.
I
'Cause
got.
I'm a sucker. I bought the.
Oh, I do
Dune.
too. I have the D&D 20 dice.
Yeah,
I just
I've got
used roll
those
20.
too.
You get to roll click clacks. Yay!
Yay! Oh, you put them in a little jar.
I put them in a little jar. Yeah.
got my-
I love it. Oh, you got both.
Oh, you got the blue
Nice.
ones.
Lucky.
I
My
want the
game
blue
store
ones.
only had the yellow ones.
Same.
Okay.
I hit up
Well, I haven't
Modiphius
rolled.
and they hooked me up. I forced
I
them.
just rolled 20 though, because I'm boring. I rolled a 12.
A 12?
I rolled a 17.
Okay, cool. You have 2 options here. This is basically hatred, right? This is roll 1d20 for each enemy your player character's house has, determining how much that enemy hates them and how far out of its way it will go to bring them down. Okay, here we go. 12 is loathing. The house always has some plan to destroy the player character's house. However, they won't risk their own resources unless they can do serious damage. That's
Okay.
considered loathing. And then you got a 17, Ellen? Right? Was it 17 you
I
said?
think it was 17,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Canley. So the other option is the house has dedicated all its resources to seeing the player's character's house not only fail but be wiped out to the last person. They take any risk if it might see an end to the player character's house. So it sounds like, that the hatred levels are pretty high because it goes from dislike to rival to loathing to Canley, and you guys got the 2 top ones.
Oh,
So
shoot.
it's either loathing or Canley. Loathing being, Canley being obviously the more intense, where they're like actively trying to kill everyone in the house, or loathing. I would suggest loathing just because it can always get worse. But if we start off with Canley, it's like we're diving right into some intense shit, Like, I don't know.
The one
But
time we
it's
didn't
also
have
fun.
on high
Not get any
rolls.
worse.
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, but it can't get any worse. That's true. That's one way to look at it. There you go. It can't get any worse.
Ways up.
Yeah.
The one time we don't want a high roll in a d20.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I only roll high in a D20 system. Every other time, it's like
Yeah. So what do you think?
Nope.
You guys want to go with loathing or Canley?
Loathing.
loathing.
I think loathing sounds good, yeah.
Yeah.
We only have to worry about the every so often, like a big attack.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
like
Every
chat.
so often.
Yeah, exactly. In chat, Kira was saying loathing is probably easier for the GM to use. So I'm all for that. We're going with best friends. They are your best friends. We're gonna make this really easy. No, I'm kidding. No, I like that.
I'm
Let me.
here for it.
Okay, hatred, loathing. Let me write all this down in the sheet. Let's get the reason. Jess and Rocket, give me the 1d20.
You ready for this? You ready for this? No.
Pretty.
Oh, don't do me dirty. Just no reason.
I got
Get a
11.
19, 20. 11. That is A 14.
Okay, 11 and 14. So
Morality. Oh wait, no, it's
11 is servitude. This is the reasoning, behind this hatred. So 11 option is servitude. One of the houses used to serve the other and now owes no fealty. It's so dark in here. The master house might want to return the upstart to their rightful place, or the vassal house might seek revenge for being held back or badly treated. That's option 1. What was the other number?
14.
The next one, family ties.
Oh, family ties. Okay, the houses have intermarried throughout the years, but one house has refused to continue the tradition. The issue has divided the house, for which they both blame each other. Well, I kind of like that because maybe there's a little tie into her family
Our
dying.
ruler.
Or I think both works. I think with servitude, maybe it ended when her father died. Right? They no longer served because the father was no longer there to enforce it. Or, again, you're right about family ties. Maybe she just refused to marry the arsehole
Well, I was
in the
gonna
other
say
family.
she's
Yeah, either
Yeah,
work
but
because it
also
plays
if
into her family being dead. Both of those can play into that. So, what was that, Ellen?
and if
Sorry.
she had I was just gonna say if she had a previous kind of like family tie or what have you, and now she's kind of like the figurehead of our house.
So she doesn't
It's
have
kinda
to marry a
We were
different
like,
house.
yeah, sorry, we're not going to have our house leader marry a station below them or a match that we don't think is suitable.
He's like,
And then
nah,
that
mate.
house is like,
Mhm.
that house is like, but we were here first. I don't
Well,
know.
and I like Jess was saying, both of those kind of play into her family being killed and her being alone, because it's also like, well, I'm not going to marry your duke or your prince or whatever, your ruler, just because you had some deal with my parents that are no longer here, and like that's not like maybe she's not
No,
feeling that
mate.
now, Yeah,
Well, they'd
I like
probably
that.
take that as a pretty big offense too.
Right. Well, that
Yeah.
hence why they're loathing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
actually makes sense.
yeah. So
If
what do
you
you
don't
want to
marry
do?
us, you marry no one. We will kill all of you.
So which one? Both of those, servitude or family ties, both of those can play into the family tie aspect of the parents being dead, and she no longer honors that deal or doesn't want to do. So, but which do you like more, servitude or family ties? Of those two,
I like family ties.
Family ties, I think.
I like
Kira
family
has
ties.
said, "Oh, I like that better than mine," but I'm not sure to which they're referring.
Servitude, I think.
Family
Yeah.
ties. Okay.
All right, family ties, and this is a minor house minor. What's their name? Anybody got a name for this house?
Oh my god, maybe they sell tea. They wanted to, like,
Oh, I like
combine
that.
the tea and the coffee industry.
I like that.
They sold decaf and they were like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
She was like, no.
I really like that though.
Yeah.
I really do. As somewhat cheesy as that sounds, it's like it's fucking realistic in competition of manufacturing, marketing, all that stuff. Like it would make sense, that they play into something like that. So like they've got the family ties. That's the cause of the loathing. But behind the scenes, just for fun, I like the fact that they make like a tea or a competitive coffee that's like non-caffeinated. It's not, you guys are famous for that shit. They're not. But
Right.
like I do like playing that in a little, like they do have something going on with like a beverage or something, and that's why there's also that. I like that.
Yeah, they wanted to combine the caffeinated beverage industry,
Yeah,
and they were like, no. She was like, no.
They're separate.
I like it. I like that. But okay, but house name. What do you think? Enemy house name that does that.
Chat, any suggestions?
Chat.
Any
yeah,
name
chat.
suggestions?
House loser.
Yeah, like, their air is, like, not great looking, and
It's like a
Sleep all the time.
Some like
Yeah.
snobby like.
Shy house.
narcoleptic.
Well, I like that. I like that. PWB says shy house. SHAI.
Oh yeah, like chai.
House
Yes!
SHAI.
I like it.
I
I'm
like
very
it.
into it.
I'm going with it. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've got our house name Satara on Arrakis and Arakeen. It's a house minor. They're known as decadent and professional. They're artistic, producing plays as their main thing. But aside from that, industrial, they produce coffee. Their ruler is Maria. She's a young female, no family. Pushed by the Reverend Mother. The rest of the roles we'll kind of figure out as we go and prior to session 1 as NPCs come into play. Aside from that, you do have an enemy, House Shy. They're a House Minor. They loathe you because of some past family tie issues. I think that's great. We've got our house locked down. What I'd love to do is take a quick 5-minute bio break. Then we'll come back and we'll do a quick character breakdown. We're not going to dive into all the details of the characters. I just want to go over, how you picture they look, if they have certain assets, what their main focus or there's a couple things like their archetype and stuff like that. We'll get into a couple things. I got some questions. We'll go about the characters, but we're not going to go into too much detail about the characters because we're still developing the characters on the sheets and stuff. I know we're still working out some of those details. So nobody go anywhere. Quick 5-minute break. I'm going to leave the mics hot and enjoy this little break image. I'll be right back.
I've got to dash up to the loop. I need to stay for the image now. Excellent. Very good. You've truly outdone yourself, Rob. I have got to dash because I've got the tiniest bladder, but it's terrible. I think my dog just slept on my mask, so I think it's going to smell like Bowser now. Anyway, over to you, Rocket.
Not me.
When you jumped back into the chat, I thought it felt like I got caught with my pants down holding a slice of pizza.
I mean, I got some cookies here, so I'm trying not to crunch into the microphone.
Nah, ASMR, free ASMR, for sure. Would you like a slice? I'll send it to you.
Yes, please.
I would
it'll
love
only
a slice.
I've got this and
Was there
a
shrimp on that pizza?
No.
Oh.
I've got everything else under the sun though.
I can't judge. I mean, I try not to, but I am Italian.
Oh, I know the mics are hot. Don't worry, April.
No,
I just want you guys to enjoy that I have pizza.
We know.
I just have to leave my door open because my dog's just having breakfast.
Oh.
So he'll probably come back in once he's scarfed it down in 10 seconds. You would think that I starve him, but he's very much literally eaten steak for breakfast. But you know, he's got to get it down in under 10 seconds or less. I guess. I was thinking about buying him one of those things that makes him slow down because it's just like kind of upsets me how quickly he eats. Just like.
That's our boy dog does that. He eats so fast, and every once in a while he'll be eating, and then he'll cough, and like full pieces of food will come out. Like, you didn't even chew it, dude. Like, what? What are you doing?
Bro, oh, I think that's him. Yeah, he's back in. Hang on.
It's funny. Yeah, and keep in mind with character sheets, because I know we just kind of dove into developing them. If there's certain things like that you didn't get done for the character sheet yet, don't worry about it. We don't need to go over that. You know what I mean? Like, we'll go over what everybody has. For the most part, it's for me, I would love everybody to at least discuss how they picture your character looks, the personality type, like the way you're going to role play the character, so other players know like the personality type. And then obviously, like, we should go over archetype options and what was the other thing? There's something else, because I want to make sure that like we're not stepping on toes, like let's see.
No, get off. He's sitting on my pillows.
Talents. That was the other thing. So archetype and talents. I just want to make sure that like we didn't all pick the same things. You know what I mean? Like, we got to make sure that we diversify the team a little, so not everybody picks the same archetype and.
I believe as
Talents.
Bene Gesserit, we all have to
have the
Pran
Bindu.
is the
Pran
yeah.
Bindu.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, you have to take that, and then you take two others, but they can be within the Bene Gesserit options or any of them really. But like I said, I just wanted to at least go over those few things to make sure that like we diversify a little bit, Yeah. Yeah, Kira said there's so many good talents. It's really cool. I also just shout out to Modiphius for the layout of this book. Oh god, it's so
gorgeous.
awesome.
Just it's really easy to find things, and just the way that the information is kind of delivered to you is just really nice. And not all, my god, not all source books have that.
Yeah. Oh, and just to backtrack on chat, April, Stiletto Assassin. Yes, we know mics are hot. I like to leave. I like to leave mics hot during intros and breaks and stuff like that. It's just fun.
It's so you can incriminate us later.
Exactly. It's good bribery material,
Rob's the real Bene Gesserit.
If we're ready, let's get back into it. Unless anybody wanted to take a quick mouthful of food before we get back. I usually do that to my players by mistake, so I just wanted to...
Sure, Rob.
I've been doing that to Jay on our Fallout stream every Friday. We take break, and then right when he takes his last bite, I go back. I'm like, all right, we're back. And he's like, oh, shit. I'm like, damn it, every time. All right, cool. Here we go.
Excellent.
And we're back. And Jess, you got some food. Perfect. We're good. We got it.
Can't start a stream without everyone having a mouthful of it.
Got it. Yeah, Kira.
She's disappeared into space.
Kira says there's so many good talents. He was agreeing. I totally agree. It's so awesome. Yeah, Modiphius did an excellent job with this book. Not just rules and the way that it works, functionality, and just the options and just the coolness of that, the function, the crunch, but the layout, the artwork is just so beautiful, so good. But yeah, let's get into characters. Like I said, I'm not worried too much about going into that much detail because I know we're still developing and working out some of the crunch. For anybody watching and also for our players that are familiar, with other games like Cyberpunk Red that I stream or Fallout, in Dune, very similar. They have a drive, which is very similar to your stats. They have a skill, which is just like your skill. They have focuses, which is like a tagged skill. If you have a 6 or higher, it becomes a tagged skill. Same with drive statements. They kind of equal your alignment, so to speak. Your drive statements kind of, I don't know, like alignment in D&D, I kind of picture it as, right? Like your drive statements kind of portray your personality drive, your alignment. And that goes per ones that rate 6 or above. Your ambition is your long-term goals. I'd love to discuss ambition, archetypes, traits. So you got your title and personality, just mainly for the personality side. And then talents. We know that as Bene Gesserit, you have to take Prana Bindu, but you get 2 others, I believe, and you can pick within those. But that's what I would love to dive into. And like I said, if any of you haven't, decided on some of these things, don't stress. Don't even worry about it. Just let me know, like, hey, I haven't decided yet. And when we hit session 1, we're going to recap characters anyways for everybody. So don't even stress it. Let's just at least go over what we have. Who wants to start? Who knows what their character looks like? Do you want to go over appearance?
I can.
All right, Rocket, go for it. What is what's your character's name and what does he or she look like? Let's get into it.
Yeah. So it's a she. I named her Insia or Insaya. Still just determining which of those I prefer. Insiya. But initially, I had built her pretty much under the consort idea, where she kind of comes across reserved, graceful, dressed up in fineries and stuff like that. And her main deal is truth, empathy. I put down here for my truth statement. I will discover the truth to use with the goal of furthering the ambitions of the sisterhood. And so kind of using the placement and things like that and the skills and talents and such to get information about people in certain positions and such like that. And also a little bit of being able to perhaps seed some decisions into people in places of power and such.
Nice. So it sounds like you leaned into more of like pursuing the truth, the Bene Gesserit goals, and
truth and influence.
Truth and influence. Nice. Perfect.
Like more of the espionage type thing, and then talents. Big shock. I hope everyone's seated. Prana Bindu conditioning for the first one. And then I went hyper awareness and voice for the rest, so I can gain information and
influence.
Kind of give a little bit. And also I have my voice changer. So
nice, awesome. You got to give a little sample of that for chat.
Oh yeah, here let me find a good one.
Use the voice on us.
Yeah, use the voice on us. Use the voice on us. Make me do something.
Let's see.
One that I think might be good is this one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I feel compelled.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Let the power of the voice compel you.
Nice.
Yeah, I like
So
that a lot. What about archetype?
I have.
What about archetypes? Options for an archetype.
So for archetype, let's see, it was, and I didn't see where that was listed on the sheet, but I believe it was either empathy or truth, whichever of those falls under the archetype. Hang on, I can get back to this.
I'm bringing it up too. 1 second.
Yeah, does anybody have a page number for that?
The archetype. What were you looking for again?
Just the character creation area archetypes.
In the book 113, so probably somewhere around there.
Let's see. So, oh yes, here we go. Yes.
Is that in the PDF or
okay.
physical?
The physical is 113.
Oh, okay.
Empath. I'd put empath as my archetype.
Oh, nice.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see beyond page 113 of the physical book, it kind of breaks down the different archetypes based on, war masters, socialites, or socialites, disciples, adepts, and then it goes into talents and drives. But yeah, you can see it's kind of like sectional. So you can kind of like, if you kind of know the general vibe of your character, if it's going to be more like social or more combat or whatever, you can kind of look at the different archetypes under that. It can kind of help you decide. But like I said, for session 0, I know that, we developed the house a little more focused. So if you want to decide this stuff by session 1, don't feel obligated to lock into things with your character at this moment. But if you do have an idea for archetype, I think it's worth discussing. Not just, to bring up what you want for your character, but also so the other players know, okay, cool, she wants to do that archetype, maybe I'll do this one or something. I don't know. It can allow more of a balanced team. Which I think is is important, since we're all Bene Gesserits. Like we need to really try to make sure at least the archetypes and talents and things are more diverse.
I think knowing kind of where the house is and what we're likely going to be doing, I'm probably going to change my archetype to courtier. Which the only difference is one has a primary as communicate and a secondary as understand, and then courtier is a primary of that's that one, and empathy is just reversed. So
okay.
Probably my primary skill be communicate, so I can seed some thoughts in there.
Nice. Who wants to go next? Starting with the appearance of your character. Give a little bit of insight to the personality and things like what Rocket did. Just lightly fill us in on your character stuff, and then as far as detail, talents and archetype. Obviously, we'll discuss that. But who wants to go next?
I'm good to go.
Go for it,
I think.
Yeah.
So, in terms of looks, I actually was basing her off of someone.
Nice.
What is her name? Edoya Lopez Riano, who was like the inspiration for the assassin in Killing Eve, Villanelle. So, yeah, she's like, she's got these like really piercing eyes, like very large on a very kind of like angular face, and like I feel like I've kind of made a character who's less in the communication and political side of the Bene Gesserits, and more just as a weapon, more just as a sword or an arm, and probably I've kind of built her as somewhat of an assassin.
Nice.
So I thought like maybe just like the piercing green eyes amongst a shadowy face would be a nice aesthetic to go for.
I love that. Yeah. We'll see if we can change that to blue over time.
Yeah.
Over the use of a particular spice. I don't know, but we'll see.
Who knows? So her name is Sister Anaya.
Nice.
And what was I meant to be going through? I've got her traits, like
archetype.
Yeah. Archetype and talents, I think, are the most important to see with the other players who's doing what.
Yeah. So, I couldn't find an archetype that was kind of like. There's infiltrator, but my main skill is in battle, because I thought.
Yep.
That would be handy. So it's somewhere between protector and infiltrator kind of thing.
Yeah, then maybe
it's kind of protector, but with the skills swapped. So instead of it being a primary in discipline and a secondary in battle, the primary is in battle and the secondary is in discipline. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would say look at that list of archetypes at a glance. That list there, but then maybe also take note of the War Masters battle archetypes too.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think any of those suggested that you have fit in with that, and I think that's great because that's kind of a cool balance to what Rocket's character is seeming to be so far. So far, seems pretty cool. And you can decide that archetype. You have a whole month, so. Dive into the rules, really figure that out. But I like that. You'll lean more towards the combat and war side of those archetypes. What about your talents?
Yes, so obviously
Prana Bindu.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey, and we haven't yet, and I think it's important to because it is so badass. Somebody read what Prana Bindu is. That little descriptive paragraph in the book is
Here, I have it
just
open.
so badass.
You have absolute control over your body. Every muscle and every nerve is under your control, and you have even mastered your own body chemistry and metabolism. Whenever you attempt to move or discipline test which relies on your control of your body, you may re-roll a single d20. You can perfectly control your breathing, heart rate, and your internal organs. What the heck?
Doesn't it even say something about birth or something? Or
Yes, including the ability to choose whether to conceive a child and to determine
It's
the child's
gender.
physical and genetic traits.
like that was the
That's
part I
so
really loved.
cool.
That last sentence is for me like that's just what
Bene
makes it.
Gesserit are wild. Yeah.
Yeah, when it gets down to like being pregnant and deciding the genetic makeup of your child, I'm like, let me control that real quick.
Jeez,
Alright, done,
oh my
done.
gosh.
What? That's insane. It's so badass, so badass. But yeah, I wanted at least to read that one. But yeah, let's go over. So you have to have that one, which is badass. What other 2 talents? What else you got?
So in kind of borrowing from Protector, I've got Bolster. But then I've also got Unobtrusive, which I thought would be
What's
very
that?
good for an assassin.
What's obtrusive? What's that one?
Let me just look that up. Unobtrusive.
Let's see.
Would have been really good to write down what it does, huh?
Yeah, I'm not.
Unobtrusive and
What page?
Very good question. If anyone...
I don't see it in the talents.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe
I'm...
it's a different thing. That might be under one of the other determinations. I don't see it.
Yeah. I don't-
which page is talents again?
Talents on page 127
Yeah.
So, let me have a look at the...
of the physical.
Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, take a look. Think about the talents there.
Yeah.
Did you have did we mention archetype? Oh yeah, we already went over
Yes,
this with the
yeah.
combat stuff. That's right. Okay, well
Yeah.
maybe while you look at those talents, because I do want to go over at least those, so we can kind of balance well. But while Ellen looks at that, Tracy or Jess, either of you want to describe your character and then get into your talents and archetypes?
Sure. I
go
can
for
go
it.
next. So
then-
I was thinking I was thinking of playing. Well, first of all, my character is. She has. Well, I'll go with her archetype first, and then I'll explain. Because that's what I went with first when I was building it. So I was thinking of playing a scholar, and somebody who's a bit more reclusive, more well-read Bene Gesserit, who knows her history, who knows everything, which means I have to brush up on my lore because I want to be like the lore master, basically.
That would be awesome. Well, and that would be great because then you can help me because I hate
know,
I
right?
hate trying to hold on to lore with
There's
these
a lot
games
of
and
lore in
stuff.
Dune.
Oh, and in Dune,
Yeah.
like, I feel lacking. So I'm like,
Yeah.
So you can absolutely help with
Yeah.
that. That would be great. And then if we're wrong, I can just blame you.
Just play me, yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna watch like all the Dune videos and like So I actually do want to like brush up on my lore. So
That's cool.
So I think she's like the scholarly type, the one who's like well read and everything and knows the history of the universe. So kind of like short black hair. Like dark blue or brown eyes, maybe even, I don't know, wear glasses or something like that. And yeah, she's more quiet. And I think her name is, I was thinking Euphemia or Euphy, Euphie, Euphy for short. And the talents, besides Prana Bindu, of course, I was thinking intense study, because that's an obvious one. And potentially putting theory into practice.
Nice.
Which is, it seems like an interesting talent to use. You've learned how to quickly turn newfound knowledge into practical advantage. So once per scene, when you obtain information, you may create a trait for free, which must represent an advantage, opportunity, or weakness you've identified with the information you received. So
Well,
kind
that's
of an
awesome.
interesting one.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like that you're leaning into like the the intellect side of the character,
Yes.
like having the lore and that. Whereas Rocket, the social side of that intellect, I picture, and
Yeah.
Ellen's character more of like the combative side of.
Yes.
Like so far I see the diversity, but still fitting within that Bene Gesserit vibe. Like very cool so far. I'm loving it. What?
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Any other talents? We didn't get
That's
into
what I have so far. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
Besides Pranabindu, so 3 total.
Oh no, perfect then. We got it. And,
Yeah.
I do want to mention before the chat gets any further, Kira looked it up. Unobtrusive is a focus for the move skill. So yeah, I think
Got it.
What I meant is subtle step.
yeah, someone mentioned that earlier, that it might be a drive message or focus or something. So it is. It's a focus for the move skill. So yeah, just look over the talents, Ellen. And like I said, if you don't want to decide by the time we get back to you after, just don't stress it. We can we're going to recap the character stuff at the beginning of session 1. This session 0 for me, the most important part was laying out the house and the general vibes of the characters so I can set up some campaign stuff. So don't stress it. You don't have to decide right at this moment.
Cool beans.
Yeah. Was there anything else to cover, Miss Magitech, with your
That's
character?
it for my character.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
the scholar archetype.
Now let's go over to Jess and see if she fucks it all up by saying she's going to be a male sook doctor that hates females or something weird. We're like, wait, what? What just happened?
I am not that aggressive. No, I'm quite chaotic. No, I was actually, this worked out very well. I was going to choose my architect as spy.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think it might be useful in this
Absolutely.
my
and
team.
and it keeps a nice diverse team still fitting within the same like task force, where like you can have the voice or potential face or social side of it, the intellect and lore and history side of it, and science side of it, and then the combative side of it, and like the muscle of it, and then maybe you with like the more like sneaky spy style combative side of it. I love this. This is really cool. It's awesome that this is working out like this without having to make it work out like that. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
worked out. Cool. But go on.
Like, I'll sit in there hoping, please, no one pick, please.
Yeah. That's perfect.
But,
Perfect.
Yeah, so oh god, I'm describing what she looks like, have I? Well, her
yeah.
name I've chosen is Lilith Fountain.
I love it.
However, none of you actually know her surname. She likes to keep herself to herself. Very, could say argumentative, bolstered, strong personality of sorts, but also very quiet. She, as soon as someone gets on the wrong side of her, be aware. She might try and beat the crap out of you. Yeah, very almost aggressive, but not quite. Jarring personality, if that makes sense. Yeah, she's dressed normally in like very obviously tight clothes, so her moving and her movements are very slick and smooth. She likes to hide in the shadows, kind of thing. So she likes to move with the shadows, either maybe crawling along the ceiling, whatever you can find her doing. She's probably trying to keep out of eye's reach. She has, again, dark hair. I was literally about to say that. But she has actually dark flowing hair that's probably about like dead straight, as if she straightens it every single morning, right? Almost raven-like, like color-wise. And she always wears a scarf across the bottom of her face to conceal half of her face.
Cool.
However, she does have her eyes on show, which are a piercing silver.
Nice.
Ooh, I like that.
With porcelain skin. She very mysterious. She likes to
Very
keep
cool.
to herself for sure. Yeah.
Love
Let's
it.
see if I can play her cool though. Her talents, obviously the standard, Pranavindu, and I was thinking between 3 of them. So I had Hidden Motives,
Okay.
yeah, or Mask of Power, and also Rapid Maneuver. Those 3 were
Ooh,
I
nice.
was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, when I think spy vibe, that rapid maneuver, I feel like feels very like, I don't know, assassin ninja style like or something. And I
Yeah.
feel like if Ellen's leaning more towards the muscle combative side, maybe you being more fast or on that movement side might be kind of cool. But
I
again,
think, yeah.
I think the team should discuss this. Find balance within yourselves and characters. I'll shut up for a moment.
I think
Mask
of
of Power sounds so cool.
right.
It's
It
just
does.
that they're like the subtle power play that I think is
Yeah.
a really cool element to like bring to such a not like conniving, but you know, a character who's wheeling and dealing. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah, and then probably taking rapid maneuver or something. Yeah, so I was thinking about those. It makes sense for her, I guess. I gave her a really soft first name just because she's not, just as like a contradictory.
Yeah,
But also, obviously, the Queen of Hell. But you know,
I love it.
But it does belie a regality to her, you know, as opposed
Oh,
to
yeah.
something a bit more untrustworthy, I suppose.
yeah.
No, I like all those options, and I think it fits within that spy vibe. But out of those talents and things, what does the rest of the team think, you know, to find balance within the team and what Jess was suggesting?
I think Mask of Power and Rapid Movement.
Yeah. I think
Seems good.
we've all got good like
Ones that fit
know,
with the characters.
they
Yeah.
all kind of mesh, but they also cover other bases.
Yeah.
I've also changed mine around a bit. So instead of bolster, I've changed it to fight someone is to know them. I think that's very cool because it's like it's more about through fighting you obtain knowledge, which is kind of like what being an assassin or a spy is about. And subtle step.
Subtle step.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're well versed in methods of everything.
We figured it out. We figured it out, y'all.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the only other thing, hold on, let me just double check. Maybe if someone in chat, and Kira's been great help. He's already dove into this system and knows. But just like the house motto, isn't there that sort of character statement or thing? Let me just double check.
There's your ambition, but then you also have the ones.
Oh, it's the that. Thank you. That's what I was trying to remember. I wanted that long-term goal ambition thing because I know the drive statements are kind of fun to see the alignment. So if any of you want to get into drive statements to kind of express your alignment and things like that, if you got into that portion of the character development, I would love to hear it. If not, no stress. No stress at all. We can save that for session 1, a little more detail.
My drive statements are like way more eloquent than my actual ambition.
Okay, well, if you let's go over them. Yeah, because I would love to hear the ambition, just the long-term goal or goals of the character, just to get like, you know, just a little insight to the character's like inner thinking of long-term goals. It's kind of fun, you know. But yeah, Ellen, if you've put thought into that, why don't you start it? Just let me know what your thoughts are on that. And everybody watching, keeping in mind, you know, we might change some of these things by session.
Yeah, well, Sister Amaya's ambition is just to, I want to see my house rise above the rest. Like, she's very devoted to her calling and her house, as it were. And then with my statements, because you go for like the stronger ones, so my like highest drive is in duty, and I said the sisterhood's will is sharp and I wield their blade.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then justice is my second one. I am the executioner's axe. If I did not trust in those wielding it, justice would not be served. Shush, Bowser.
He had some thoughts.
Mummy's talking.
He had some thoughts on that last statement. He wasn't feeling it.
He's concerned.
Yeah, he's concerned.
And power, for power, its power never rests in one hand too long.
Nice. Oh, those are great. Those are perfect, and they fit in with your character, the vibe that you've kind of set forth. Again, everybody else, don't feel obligated to lock these in if you haven't thought of them yet. Like I said, we can do some of these little things on session 1. But if anybody else put thoughts into their long-term goals, their ambition, or you know, these drive statements, I'd love to hear them if you do have them.
My character probably leaned towards justice. Like, the backstory I kind of want to give her is that the Reverend Mother promised her that she'd find out who had killed her sister, of sorts.
Oh, I like that.
So, yeah. So
That's
she
good.
has this whole... She's been on the run trying to find skeevy like information in side streets, etc., until she was taken in by the Reverend, and taken in under her wing as well. So she has a kinship with like the ruler of the house of sorts. And also treats her like kind of like a little sister almost, because she'd lost hers. So she's trying to protect as much as she can. But she's just trying to find the justice
I
in
like
what
that.
happened.
And it gives your character that little like I don't know, other relationship with the ruler, that the understanding and kind of this similar background with the family and stuff. I like that a lot. Did anybody else have any random background stories or things that they've put into their character yet? Like Jess did with that. If you have anything to add, I'd love to hear it. If not, you can think about that in session 1. If there's other backstory stuff, that'd be great. Because me as a GM, I'm just going to make note of that, like, sort of life path thing that might come into play in campaigns and things. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, does anybody else have? Let's at least go over the long-term goals, the ambition, or drive statements.
I'll think a little bit more. I have an idea of what it is. I don't have the statement and everything, but I think it'll be something like either truth or what was the other one? Truth or I lost it now. But basically, I think her big goal is knowledge is power. So having like ultimate knowledge of everything, like that is going to be a big goal for my character, is learning and have just knowledge is power. Basically, that's what it's going to be.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think power was the other one. Truth or power or will be my drives.
No, I love that. And leaning into like the knowledge thing, it makes sense to the character since she's like into intelligence and the lore and like history and all that stuff. Like that's perfect. Just like Ellen's leans into her being more into the combative stuff.
I think my character will be like super devoted to the Reverend Mother. Like even if there's like things that like, I assume the Reverend Mother, we might not always agree with her at times, but we follow her. But I think she's going to be like super devoted to like the cause, like the Kwisatz Haderach thing, like being super like devoted to that cause. So yeah.
Oh no, and that's, again, like I said, that plays into like why you're placed on Arrakis. It's like she knows like Paul was just born recently. She knows like the future of things, even if you all don't. There's definitely some alternate things going on, that play into real lore of Dune, so that's very cool. I love that. Anybody else? I think Rocket, did you were the last one here, and don't feel obligated, like I said, but if you do have ambition or drive statements, I'd love to hear anything.
Yeah, initially the idea was truth, which the statement I had when I was talking about mine, I will discover the truth to use it with the goal of furthering the ambitions of the sisterhood. Which before next time I might like lean a little more into influence, though. Well, I'm going to take a little peek through.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Like I said, we have a month. We're going to, our session 1 will be the last Sunday of next month, and then we're on the last Sunday of every month moving forward. So you have a whole month. I would love for all of you to revisit your characters, make sure all the crunch is proper, make sure if there's anything you want to adjust with the ambition, things like that, go for it, but then make notes of it in the Cybernation Uncensored Dune chat so the rest of the players can see it. That way, if you do alter something, nobody alters things to the same. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it as diverse as it's been, because I can't even begin to say how excited and happy I am with this team and how it's worked out to where, I don't know, it's diverse without us having to manipulate it. Like, it just kind of worked out fucking
we all
perfect.
have character ideas that just kind of like
yeah.
And they're all
you gotta trust in the missionary of Protectiva,
Yeah.
It's like those seeds were sown before we even realized we were making the characters.
Exactly.
The process. You gotta trust the process.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely happy with all of this. It's been amazing. So yeah, I think we can end our session 0 with that. I think we covered our gameplay style, our Lion's Veil sort of stuff. We went over the house creation, the character creation stuff. By session 1, if we alter things, and even if we don't, whatever. Session 1, we're definitely going to do a little recap on the house and on the characters, so we can dive in, because that's going to be a month away. We're going to have to do a little recap. So, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does everyone feel about like RP versus like combat heavy? Like, just how does each player feel? It'd just be nice to know how people like find
Yeah.
that and what they prefer.
I love
and
RP.
I'm an RP gal. I'm always RP
Yeah.
first. Combat second.
I love like combat when it's really slick, or like it's why I love Cyberpunk combat, because it's like it's down to real world time.
True.
And it's often not like a really long drawn out thing. It's like if you get the drop on someone, it's like that's it.
Right. And I guess I
whereas,
took for
like,
granted
yeah.
the fact that, we've all played together here, me, Tracy, Ellen, Rockette, but I haven't got to play or GM Jess before. So I kind of did take that part for granted in the sense that when I GM, I absolutely, you can all vouch as a player, like I'll put combat in, but there's a lot of role play, heavy plot twists and like unexpected stuff. I also am multifaceted and like, things play in from the past to the future.
Yeah.
You've got to think multi-levels, otherwise you might miss things. There's always rewards, repercussions. So I'm a very in-depth GM. And because of that, I'm very balanced. So lots of role play and combat, like I'll try to balance it. But if the team wants to lean more towards role play or more towards combat, absolutely let me know and I can alter. Otherwise, I'm typically more balanced. And with Dune, I think inherently it's just more role play in general. It's more of a plot, political driven system. It's not as much combat in my general vibe of just going over the rule book and everything and seeing other streams and stuff. So, but let me know at any point during any sessions, campaigns, and in the future if it's too much role play or too much combat or whatever, you're not having fun. Fuck it, let me know. We got to have fun first. So But yeah, I think
I fully agree.
yeah, I think we're good. Everyone in chat, thanks so much for joining and contributing ideas. PWB, Kira, everybody else, seriously.
Thank you guys. Thank
you guys are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helped.
yeah, you made our session 0 just amazing, and it's so much better when we have like multiple minds contributing ideas and it just becomes this collective thing and it just makes it the best it can be. It's so cool. I'm really happy with this. So yeah, everybody else watching, whether you're watching the VOD or you're right here on the live stream, make sure you check us all out. All of us are streamers and content creators. We all have lots of stuff we put out. We would love you all to follow and subscribe to all of us on all social medias. Check us out. You can see below our names, our little Twitter handles. I know Jess barely gets on Twitter, so if you go check her out on Twitter, follow her link to her Instagram, which I believe is Rising Valkyrie without the J. Hit her up on there. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see everybody in about a month. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.